unit we can break it down into is what we call atom. So as far as music is concerned as well, the smallest unit we can break music into is what rudiment of music entails. So they are basic units with which music is built up. They are the elements, the major elements. It's just like, think of a dish, a meal that is prepared. There are different ingredients that comes together to make that meal a delicious one. So those, we can liken that to rudiments of music. All right, as we can see on the slide, the basic elements of music that rudiments of music encompass include notes, rests, rhythm, scales, key signatures, chords, intervals, and musical notation. Now, we are saying that all these things that are mentioned, they are the units, basic units that come together to form what we call music. And that is the reason why the knowledge of how to put these things together to form, to create, to compose a good music is very important. Yes, the importance cannot be underrated. It is important that you know how to make use of these elements of music to compose a very good music. All right, so we are going to be looking into these elements together. If you are going to compose a good music, then you need to know how to put this, all this together. Now, if we take a look at it very well, we will see that, let me use the example of learning a language, English language for instance. We have letters that we combine together to form words and then to form phrases and sentences. And music as well is music is also a way of communication. Music is communication. And as far as communication is concerned, then it is very important that one understands the basics behind a particular language to be able to communicate to others in that language. Now, I will start with notes. Notes in music can be likened to the letters of alphabet. It can be likened to the letters of alphabet. What do I mean by that? We say we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, up to Z as the letters of the English alphabet. And then we'll notice that when we write down sentences, phrases, words, what we have is the combination of these letters. The same thing is applied to music. We combine different musical notes together to form music, just as we combine A, B, C, D, and every other letters of the English alphabet to write down sentences, phrases, words, and so on. And through that, we can communicate. Now, let's take a look at this example. I can do all things. I can do all things. Now, I imagine someone who has not learned English as a language. Such a person is called to come and read this. There is no way such person will be able to read this because that person does not have the knowledge behind the basics to be able to understand what is written here. It's like a code that cannot be decoded because the decoder is not available. So it is someone who has the knowledge of reading out this that can actually be able to read out this and then communicate. In music, of course, when we play music or we sing music, we can see that what we do is that we combine different notes with different durations together. I'm going to break down everything that notes entails. Now, as we combine different letters together here to form a complete sentence, that is the same way we combine notes together to form a complete music sentence and phrases. So, in music, we have different kind of notes that we use in music. This is it. Every note has what we call pitch and what we call duration. Now, the pitch of a note simply means the height or the depth of that note, which can also be described as how high or the highness, or how low or the lowness of a sound. When we hear someone sing, for example, or we hear an instrumentalist play out a rhythm on his musical instrument, what we hear is different kind of notes with different kind of pitch and different kind of duration put together. Now, like I said the other time, we have different kind of letters that we put together to form a sentence or a phrase. Now, I can also put together some other letters of the English alphabet to form other words or other sentences. It's still the same letters. Now, let's take a look at this. This is my book. This is my book. Still the same letters we put together, but we have a complete different meaning from what we have here. That is what happens when we combine sound together. Now, what are the notes that we use in music? Like I said, each note, when we make a sound. Now, I want to make it more practical. I'm making the sound oh, oh, oh. Now, if I repeat that again, oh, oh, oh. If I'm on the key of C, for example, then I'm going to have the following notes. I have this. I have this. Then I have this. So I have oh, oh, oh. We can see that each sound is being represented here. A note in music is a symbol that we use to represent musical sound. This simply means that when we make a sound, either by making use of the voice or we make a sound on musical instrument, that sound has its own pitch. And in music, it is why we have the first 7 letters of the English alphabet to name the pitch of sound. We use this to name the pitch of sound. Now, if I'm on C, key C, and I make those 3 sounds, I can write them down. So as I can speak a sentence, I can do all things. I can write that sentence down. So as I can also write the sentence down, I can also read it out. Likewise, music can be sung and music can be written down. So whatever is being sung can also be written down. Like I said, there is what we call pitch. We can see on this tab that each of the notes we have here have different, each of these notes have different pitch. That is why we can see that this is above this is above this, because they have different pitch. So pitch, like I said, is the highness or lowness of a sound. Now we can also notice, let me come back to pitch. The pitch of this note here is C. The pitch of this note here is E. The pitch of this note here is G. So every note you can sing or play on the musical instrument can also be written down on the tab, and each of them has its own pitch. We call them fixed pitch name. Why? Because the name we give to each pitch cannot change. It cannot change. So this is C, this is E, this is G. Wherever the C note is played, it will always sound the same way. It will not sound like D. D as well will not sound like E. One note will not sound like the other because there is a pitch that each note carries. And when the note is played, it keeps giving the same note every time. Now we can also see that there is what we call duration. Now, in music, as I said, notes are symbols that we use to represent musical sound. There are 6 symbols we use to represent musical sound in music. We make use of these notes, which is called a semibreve. We make use of this note, which is called minim. We make use of this, which is called crotchet. We use these notes called quaver. We use this, which is called semiquaver. And then we make use of these notes called demi, semi, quaver. So we can see that now the reason why we have different symbols is because each sound has different duration it carries. So when we see these notes, it has 4 beats as its duration. What do we mean by duration? The duration of a sound is how long the sound is. That is the length of time through which a sound lasts. This is a sound. Oh. There is another sound. Oh. Now, one sounds longer than the other. Oh. That lasts for 4 beats. Oh. That lasts for 2 beats. So each of these notes has its own duration. And when we combine them together, we must be mindful of the duration of each of the notes. So producing these notes, on the key of C, it sounds thus. Oh, 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 oh. Meaning that the first sound we have here has 4 beats duration, the next sound has 2 beats duration, and the third sound also has 2 beats duration. So when we bring different notes with different duration together, we can see that a rhythm, a musical phrase, is achieved. So these are the notes that we use in music. They are like the letters that forms words, phrases, and sentences. Okay. So these notes, this pitch can also be altered. We can alter them we can alter a pitch by reducing it or by increasing it. For instance, oh, this note E sounds oh. If I alter it by a semitone, it sounds oh. E sounds oh. Then if I reduce it, it sounds oh. It has been reduced. Now, if I want to achieve that on the staff, then I will make use of what is called an accidental. An accidental is also a symbol that is used in music to reduce or to increase the pitch of a note. I repeat again, an accidental is used to reduce or to increase the pitch of a note. For instance, I have a note here, E. I can reduce this note, the pitch of this note, by a semitone, by putting an accidental called flat here. By using an accidental called flat. Now, I have altered this pitch from E to E flat. So we have symbols that we use to alter the pitch of a note. So the pitch of a note simply means the highness or the lowness, the height or the depth of a sound. So as far as notes are concerned, these three things are very important to take note of as far as notes are concerned. The pitch, the height or depth of a sound, the duration, the length of the sound, how long or how low a sound is or a pitch is, and then the accidentals. Now, the accidentals that we make use of in music, we have 5 of them that we use in music. We have the flat, we have the sharp, we have the natural sign, we have the double sharp sign, and we have the double flat sign. Any of these can be used. It depends on the composer's desire. It depends on what the composer wants to do with a particular pitch. Either he or she wants to raise the pitch of the note or lower the pitch of the note. So these three things are very important as far as notes are concerned. So we have 1 beat for this note. We have half beat for this note. We have quarter beat, 1/4, and then this is 1/8 beat. All right. Like I said earlier, I said that to communicate means to be able to tell another person a thing or to make something known. Now, it is very important that these things, the knowledge of these notes and everything it entails is hard, so that one can be able to combine notes together to make a complete musical phrase or sentence. Now, we go to another element, which is rest. Another element of music is rest. As far as music is concerned, we don't sing all the time. You cannot expect every member of a choir, for instance, to keep singing all the time. There are little periods of rest. There are little periods of silence in music, which we call rest. So rest indicates pauses or silences in music. Now, the difference between musical notes and rest is that when we have a musical note, we make a sound because musical notes represent sound. But when we have a rest, it means that we keep silent because musical rest represents pause or silence. Now, as we have each musical note representing a particular number of beats, we also have each musical rest representing different duration. So each of them also carries its own duration, just as the musical note carries their duration. So we have the following symbols for rests. We have this symbol. We have this symbol. We have this. We have this. And then we have this. So just as we have each of these musical notes carrying different duration, this rest also carry duration. This is 4 beats. This is 2 beats. This is 1 beat. This is half beat rest. This is quarter beat rest, 1/4. This is 1/8 beat rest. Now, it's very simple. When we have any of these musical notes, we are to produce sound for each of them. We are to produce sound for each of these musical notes when we see them. So that is why when these notes were written on the staff, we produce sound for each of them because it represents sound. Now, as far as musical rests are concerned, we don't produce sound. So anytime a musician is reading out music, a piece of music is being sight read, it means that when you come across any of these symbols, you are to take a pause. Now, what is the duration of the pause that will be taken? It depends on the kind of rest that is indicated. So, if we have a semi-brief rest, then it will be a 4-beat silence. This is a minimum rest. It will last for 2 beats. 1-beat rest, crochet rest. Then we have half-beat rest. We have quarter-beat rest. And then we have 1/8 beat rest. So as far as rest is concerned, these are the rests, signs, symbols that we use in music. So like I said, each rest has a duration like a note. It can be short or long, just as we have some notes that are long and we have some that are short. It depends on the note value that it represents. So we use the name of the note to also name the rests. We say semi-brief rest, that means it has 4 beats. Silence. Minimum rest has 2-beat silence. Crochet rest has 1-beat silence. Quiver rest has half-beat silence. Semi-quiver rest 1/4 beat silence. And 1/8 beat silence for the semi-quiver rest. So I repeat again, this note is semi-brief. This note is minim. This is crochet. This is quiver note. This is semi-quiver. This is demi-semi-quiver. And then I have listed them in the order of, in the decreasing order of their duration, from the longest one to the shortest one, also the musical rest. So each of these is corresponding to each of the notes. Each of the rest is corresponding to each of the notes in that manner. So these are the things, these are the symbols that we combine together to form music. If we break down music into the smallest part, we can see that the smallest part of music is pitch. its pitch, and rest. They are the things that make up music. All right, we can go to the next slide. We go to what we mean by rhythm. Rhythm. Rhythm is the pattern of sounds and silences in time. Rhythm, I repeat, is the pattern of sounds and silences in music. We can also define rhythm as the flow of musical sounds. Very simple. What we mean by this is that for us to have a rhythm, we need to combine different sound and rest together. It is very simple. A rhythm can be as short as this. This is a rhythm. We said it is the flow of musical sounds. It is the pattern of sounds and silences in time. Yes, we have a rhythm here. Now, if I want to sing this rhythm, I'm not writing it on the staff this time around. So it's just to illustrate what we mean by rhythm, actually. So, from what I said earlier, each sound has its own duration. This first sound has a duration of 2 beats, the next one 1 beat, the next one 1 beat, this one, this two, and then we have a rest that lasts for 2 beats. So if I want to sing this as just one note, I'm going to use just one note to sing everything. I want you to pay attention to the duration of each of the notes and the duration of each of the rest. I want to make a little analysis first. So this is going to last for 2 beats. Oh, 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 oh. Now, if I break that down, this first note lasts for 2 counts. Oh, now you can see the counting I'm doing with my fingers. Oh, 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 oh. Now, meaning that I have a sound here, I have a sound here, I have a sound here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sounds. And then I have the last symbol here, which is not a note but a rest. So I counted 2 beats, silence here. Again, oh. I repeat, oh, 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 oh. That is it. Now, I can combine the same number of notes, but have a complete rhythm. Just as I can combine some letters together and form a sentence with them. Also, I can combine the same set of letters together and form another complete sentence. So I can have this. Here I'm having 1, 2, 3, 4 crochets, and 1, 2, 3, 2 meanings. Then I can still have the same, but it will give me a completely different rhythm. So I have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. Then I have a rest here. Now, looking at this, it's a rhythm that is completely different from the first one. But looking at it, we still combine the same. I'm just trying to show that even when we have the same notes, we can produce a completely different rhythm. Now, in the second rhythm, I have O, 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 O. It is completely different from the first one that sounds O, 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 O. But looking at it, I formed this rhythm with the same number of notes together with this and the same rest. So we are trying to say that just as letters can be combined together to form a sentence, letters can also be combined, the same letters can also be combined together to form another sentence. That is what it is in rhythm. And as far as rhythm is concerned, we can have a fast tempo rhythm, we can have a slow tempo rhythm. But when we talk about tempo, tempo has to do with, tempo means speed, actually. So the same rhythm I have here, I can have it in another time signature. I can have it in a way that it will be faster. So rhythm is completely different from tempo. So rhythm is the pattern of sounds and silences in music. When we combine different sounds and different silences together, then we have what we call rhythm. Now, I don't want to use a monotone example this time around. I want to make use of the staff now. If I have this, now I have this on the staff. Now, the same rhythm I wrote here, up here, okay, I number this rhythm 1, and this I number rhythm 2. The same rhythm I have in rhythm 1 is the same rhythm I have here on the staff. Now, what's the difference? The difference here is that the notes I put here, they have no definite pitch. The notes I put on the staff, they have a definite pitch. Like I said earlier, these notes can be given the fixed pitch name A, B, C, D, E, F, G, depending on their position on the staff. But the ones I have here, they cannot be given a fixed pitch name because they are not written on the staff. Now, if I am to produce this sound, the first sound I have here is O, Now, permit me to make use of the sulfur notation method. This note is do. So I have this do will last for 2 beats. The next note is re, lasts for 1 beat. The next one lasts for 1 beat, mi. The next one is so. The next one is mi. This is re, and this is do. And then I have a 2-beat silence as the last symbol on the staff. So this is getting the key right. Do, do, re, mi, so, mi, re, do. Sorry, a bar line should be here. Now I repeat again. Do, re, mi, so, mi, re, do. So I have different pitch, but that are combined together to form a rhythm. And then I have a rest here. Now, if I change the pitch of each of these notes, if I change the pitch of each of these notes, the rhythm will change in terms of the duration of each note. And also, the pitch of each note will change. But if I want to use the same sulfur notation, if I want to maintain the same pitch that I have here, then it's going to sound as this. Now, I want to maintain the same pitch. It will sound as do, do. It sounds as do, re, mi, so, mi, re, do. Now, it's completely different from do, re, mi, so, mi, re, do. So what we are saying is that we can have the same notes, combine the same notes and rest together, but we can have different rhythm. I can repeat these notes in different ways such that I'm going to have different rhythms at the end of everything. So rhythm has to do with how notes, musical notes and rest are combined together, how they flow, how one note flow into the other, and rest as well. One rest flows into another. That is what we mean by rhythm. So as far as rhythm is concerned, we have beats. We have the steady pulse. Now, I want to talk about a few things here as far as rhythm is concerned. Tempo, I talked about the speed of the beat. Now, for instance, the same rhythm produced here, do, re, mi, so, mi, re, do. I can make it faster and it sounds do, re, mi, so, mi, re, do. It does not change the rhythm. It only changes the tempo. So tempo has to do with speed, how fast or how slow the music is. It is completely different from what we mean by rhythm. The beat is the steady pulse. Now, here is what we call the time signature. The time signature I use as an example here is 4/4 time signature. Now, there is what we call pulse in music. Pulse is that steady movement that keeps the music going. We say that it is corresponding to the beat, to the beating of the heart. It is very steady. For instance, in a rhythm like this, 4/4 time signature, we have the pulse 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It continues like that. Now, in time signatures like 3/4, we have the pulse 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we can see that the beat for 4/4 time signature is different from the beat for 3/4 time signature. And I can go on and on again to give different examples of time signatures in which the counting is different. So the counting is different from one key time signature to another. That is what we mean by the pattern of beat. That is time signature. We have 2/4 time signature, we have 3/4, we have 4/4, we have 2/8 time signature, and so on and so forth. 4/4 time signature means 4 crochet beats in each bar. That is the reason why, and 4 crochet beats means a crochet is 1 beat, so 4 crochets will be 1 beat times 4. That is 4 beats. So after every 4 beats, we have what we call a bar line. So this bar line is a vertical line that we use as a kind of compartment to divide a piece of music into equal portion of time. Then note values, I've talked about note values. That is the duration of notes. So as far as rhythm is concerned, the duration of notes is very important. That is why, for instance, you are given a rhythm. Do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do. If you sing it as do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, it's a different, we have 2 different rhythms entirely. Why? Because the flow we have in the first one is completely different from the flow we have in the second one. So as a vocalist now, for instance, you are supposed to sing, oh, and then you sing, oh. It's 2 different rhythms entirely. So it is very important to get the flow of a piece of music right. It is very, very important to get it right, because when you communicate, you have to communicate effectively. You have to communicate effectively. You can't tell me that you want to say, take me, for instance. Look at this sentence. Take me to the place. And then you write, make me to the place. Does this one even make any sense? It is making no sense. So that is the reason why the use of notes is very important. Each note must be used correctly to be able to convey a message or to be able to communicate with, to the listeners. And then I talked about rests. Actually, I talked about rests. And then the last one here is syncopation. Syncopation occurs in something like, for instance, I have do, do, re, mi, re, do. Do, do, re, mi, re, do. When I have do, do, re, mi, re, do, that is syncopation. It's an unexpected accent. Let me repeat that example again. Do, do, re, mi, re, do. If I sing it as do, do, re, mi, re, do, that's syncopation. I am accenting a weak beat. We call it syncopation. So what we are trying to say is that as far as rhythm is concerned, we can have syncopation in music. We can have unexpected accents in music. So all these are combined together to give lovely rhythms in music. Syncopation makes songs beautiful. They make songs beautiful. Very, very beautiful. All right, so that is rhythm. And then we go to what is a scale. Let's talk about scale. A scale can be defined as the musical ladder of notes that ascend or descend from a starting note. We can also define a scale as a sequence of notes in ascending or descending pitch. The 2 most common scales that we know are the major scales and the minor scales. The major scale is the one we usually sing as do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Then we sing the minor scale as la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Although we have two different types of minor scale. We have the one we call harmonic minor scale. We have harmonic minor scale. We have melodic minor. We have harmonic minor and we have melodic minor scale. Harmonic minor scale is given as la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, si, la. And then the descending is la, si, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. For the melodic minor, we have the 6th and the 7th notes sharpened. Now, to break it down, the harmonic minor scale is la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, si, la. So instead of la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, this 7th note has been increased by a semitone. That's the use of this sharp note. So instead of having so, we have z, which means that the 7th note has been sharpened. So we hear this in different, in some movies, they make use of tunes that are harmonic minor, that are from harmonic minor scale. You hear much of these notes, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa. You hear more of z. You can hear tunes like la, ti, do, ti, la, re, do, ti, la, si, ti, la. That's harmonic minor scale. And then we have the melodic minor scale. That one has both the 6th and the 7th notes sharpened. La, ti, do, re, mi, ve, si, la. Then when it descends as la, so, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. We hear tunes from this scale as well, so many times. La, ti, do, so, mi, do, re, mi, re, do, ti, la, zi, vi, zi, la. Like this song that is a very common, very popular Christmas song that we call Green Sleeves. Yeah. What child is this? The tune name is Green Sleeves. La, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, ti, sol, la, ti, do, la, zi, la, ti, mi. La, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, ti, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, zi, vi, zi, la. That's an example of melodic minor scale. Now, what we are trying to say is that as far as composing a piece of music is concerned, we can compose songs from any of these scales. That is why the understanding, the knowledge of scale is also very important for a musician. It is very, very important. We have scales like pentatonic scales. I know of a vocalist that makes use of pentatonic scales very well. When she does riffs, different kind of riffs, you hear different kind of pentatonic scale. Pentatonic scale, as the name implies, the prefix penta means 5, so it's a 5-note scale. We have a lot of traditional songs, folk songs, that are in this kind of scale. So we have example of pentatonic scale is the scale do, re, mi, sol, la. Do, re, mi, sol, la. There is one popular song that we know very well. Do, mi, sol, mi, re, sol, do. So, do, mi, re, do, la, mi, re, do, mi. If you look into that song very well, it's a pentatonic scale song. So the song comprises of these 5 notes. So when we say scale, it means that when we say that a song is built on a particular scale, we are saying that the notes of that song are from the notes that comprises of, they are from the notes that make up that particular scale. So if we say a song is on pentatonic scale, it means that every note of the song does not go outside of that particular scale. So if we see all the notes of a pentatonic scale music, we will see that there will be no other notes other than these, other than the 5 notes. We cannot see any other notes other than the 5 notes. Now, I'm not saying that it is only do, re, mi, sol, la that we have. It could even be do, re, mi, fa, and sol. It depends on, but it will just be 5 notes altogether. It's a 5-note scale. We have the tritonic scale. We can have a song that is based on 3-note scale. That is tritonic scale, like do, re, mi, for instance. Yeah, we have some songs like that. We have some, most especially African rhythms, traditional African rhythms that are tritonic. We have them, a lot of them. And then we have the blues scales and so on and so forth. Okay, that is scale. And then from there, we move to key signature. We move to key signature. A key signature is a set of sharps or flats at the beginning of a piece. It's a set of flats or sharp at the beginning of a piece. It indicates the key of the music. It simplifies notation. And there are 12 major and 12 minor keys. Now, there was a scale I did not mention. We call that scale chromatic scale. Chromatic scale have 12 notes all together. It has 12 notes all together. And that can simply be achieved by going to a piano and play from your key C. All the keys, white, black, as they follow one another till you get to the next C after the C you started from. So we have 12 keys, 12 major keys and 12 minor keys. So each of them serves as the tonic for either a major or a minor key. And then we have ways of identifying them. For the sharp, we have G, D, A, E major, B major, F major, and C major. You might have seen some musical compositions, and at the beginning, you see some flats or sharp signature here. That is what we call the key signature, like this. This is indicating the key of G major. So 1 sharp, when we have 2 sharps, that is D major, 3 sharps, A major, E major, and so on and so forth. So key signature is also very important because as a musician, if you are given a piece of music, you need to understand what is the key in which the piece of music is. And then it makes the notation to be simplified. It makes us not make use of, it helps us not to make use of accidentals, many accidentals. So that's it. We have 12 major and 12 minor keys altogether. And finally, we talk about chord. Chord is also very important in music. In fact, as far as harmony is concerned in music, the knowledge of chord is very important. It's very important. What is chord? What is a chord? A chord is the simultaneous sounding of 2 or more notes. Now, the simultaneous sounding means notes that are sounded together. When we have 2 notes or more than 2 notes that are sounded together, we have what we call chord. And then we have different kind of chord. We have major chord, we have minor chord, we have diminished chords, we have augmented chords. We have different kind of chords like that. And when a major chord is reduced, for instance, this chord C, E, G is a major chord. And then there is a formula by which these chords are composed. There are different formulas. For instance, for major chord, we have 4 semitones between the first and the third. And now, I mean for a triad is a 3-note chord. A chord can be 2 notes, like we said. It could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5, and even more. But for triad, as an example, this is an example of a major triad. Now, we can get a minor triad from this major triad by just simply reducing this pitch by 1 semitone, and then we now have 3 semitones between the first and the third notes, and 4 semitones between the third and the 5th note. So, chord produces harmony. Chord produces harmony. There are some chords that are pleasant. They form this kind of pleasant effect. There are some chords that form this kind of not pleasant effect, but actually they still form beautiful harmony. They form beautiful harmony. An example of major chord, like I said, is C, E, G. That is Do, Mi, So combined together. Then we have Do, Mo, So combined together. That is an example of minor triad. Then we have diminished triad. We can have something like this, for instance. We have Fa, Z, now, for instance, if we have Do, Mi, Z, this is an example of augmented triad. An example of diminished triad is this, Ti, Re, Fa. So we can combine different notes together to form any of these triad: major, minor, and diminished interval, diminished chord rather, or triad. Triad is a chord of 3 notes. So when there are 3 notes that are combined together, we call it a triad. But the general name for combination of notes that are combined together, either 2, 3, 4, or no matter the number, the general name is chord. But when we have 3 specifically, we call it a triad. Conclusively, the knowledge of this can help you to have a very lovely composition, music composition. The knowledge of the rudiments of music, which include the musical notes, the musical rests. We also have the key signatures, the rhythm, the scales, the intervals, and the musical notation. All these combined together can help you as a musician to produce lovely music. Thank you very much. Okay, before I leave, is there any question? Is there any question? I would like to entertain any question that is being asked. Any question? All right.
All right. Thank you very much for this, Mr. Solomon.
Thank you, sir.
It's a very enlightening session for musicians. So I will just contribute one of a few things I picked or learned from the session.
Yes, sir.
As I said, it's very essential that people who are practicing music, people who are into that career of music, that you understand these building blocks just like you put them. And one of the main things you also, first of all, established is that every language has its elements, can be broken down. For example, English language can be broken down into reading, writing, listening, and speaking, basically. So it means to better flow or understand the language, you should be able to at least read the language, write the language, listen to the language, and speak it. And then you give us, and we, according to English, we know some of the elements or building blocks of English, just like you related, using alphabets, using sentences that has parts of speech and everything. So, and relating it with music, it made it easy to assimilate. I am a musician, so I was able to really get it very well. As I said, it's very essential that people who do music, who are practicing music, who wants to go into music, should have this as a foundation. You explained one thing that is a key principle or a key knowledge that every musician should have, that music really is built around pitch and rhythm. The core foundation of every music we have heard today, from jazz to Afro to high life, is built around pitch and rhythm. And you've explained that pitch is the degree of height and depth of a sound in different, and you also explained how it can be used in different forms. How rhythm also is essential.
Yes, sir.
One thing you said that I've always also held, I've always used also as a background knowledge for my own musicality also, is that notes, or a rhythm, is like a combination of steps and stops. I always like to see notes like that. And notes are steps, and rests are stops. So it means, and when you move for a particular period of time, you stop for a particular period of time. And when it now repeats itself, it becomes a rhythm, and it's what you now call a rhythm. What people can relate to when they hear. People can move their bodies to, because it's repetitive. You get so, and you were really able to explain that. You went on to explain scales. Actually, different. When you were mentioning the different types of scales, I just saw different genre of music. From even when you were mentioning the pentatonic scale, for example, and you mentioned that even folk songs, that's the Yoruba folk songs, are built around the pentatonic scale. I was just secretly humming Batariadu Kokoka. I was humming it here, and I found out that it was actually built around just 5 notes, the pentatonic scales, and many Yoruba songs like that. So the point is, even learning scales helps us understand the genre of music that we are into, or maybe we want to learn or know some stuff about. So it really opened my eyes to that. And also you talked about chords, naming the types of chord. Major chord, just like the name implies, major is important, it's bright. Minor is not as important as like that, is less important. Not that it's not important, but has a particular feeling. So the point is, in music, for chords really explain the feeling of the music itself. Chords explain the feeling. And a major chord explains a happy mood. A minor chord explains a sad mood. Diminish means to gradually make weak or less, or reduce or decrease. You get, so to augment means to add to. So it means when you are augmenting, if you are augmenting a minor chord, for example, you are adding to its feeling. You are making it more unhappy. If you are augmenting a major chord, you are making it more happy. So I was able to learn all of that from what you said. And one thing you also said is the basic knowledge of all these things is what really helps you be a better musician, to make music, and to also, to make music basically, to understand music, and also to appreciate music, just like was in the caption on the flyer. It helps you to appreciate music also. So you can see different genre or different styles of music in the basic knowledge of what music is, which is the rudiment of music. And so thank you so much for this session.
Thank you very much.
We're grateful.
Yes, sir.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so layman, because I mean, when you were talking, we didn't understand basically everything you were saying, but
yes,
at least we get from the explanations that this is the basics of music.
Yes, sir.
This is what comes together, especially from what Josh was saying now, that I mean, these are the basic things that form every genre of music.
Yes, sir.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
For the presentation.
Yes, sir.
We know that people who are music lovers were online, and
yes, sir.
I mean, they have been able to get one or two things.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
So till next week, Monday.
Thank you very much. Thanks for this session. Before I round off finally, I want to thank the management of Vantage Church for the great privilege. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone that has joined in the session today. And so, by God's grace, next week again, we are going to be meeting for another edition of Business and Life series. Next Monday, 6 p.m. Join us again. Thank you very much.